Welcome to this sanctuary of rest. As you settle into stillness, allow your body to find its most comfortable position. Let the surface beneath you receive your full weight. There is nothing to hold, nothing to carry forward into this moment. Breathe deeply and slowly. With each exhale, feel yourself sinking a little more into softness. The day with all its noise begins to fade. The world outside grows quieter. Here, in this space, you are safe. Tonight, we explore a question that touches something tender in the human heart. Why does that one person keep appearing in your thoughts? Why, no matter how much time passes or how hard you try, does their face drift back into your mind uninvited? Perhaps it's someone you loved and lost. Perhaps it's someone who hurt you. Perhaps it's someone you never quite had, or someone you're still trying to understand. Whoever they are, their presence in your mind has become a familiar companion, sometimes comforting, often painful, always persistent. Zen Buddhist wisdom offers not a way to forcefully remove this person from your thoughts, but something far more liberating, an understanding of why they're there and how to find peace even while they remain. These teachings have guided restless hearts for over 1,000 years. They do not promise to make you forget. They promise something better, freedom within remembering. As we journey through these ancient insights together, allow yourself to drift deeper into relaxation. There is no effort required, no problem to solve tonight. Simply listen and rest. Let the words wash over you like gentle waves, carrying what serves you and releasing what doesn't. Your only task is to breathe. Your only responsibility is to rest. The nature of the grasping mind. In the stillness of this moment, let us first understand what is happening when someone refuses to leave your thoughts. Zen Buddhism speaks of a phenomenon called attachment, not the healthy bonds we form with those we love, but a particular quality of mind that grasps, clings, and refuses to release. When we become attached, our mind behaves like a hand that has closed tightly around something precious. Even when holding causes pain, even when what we're holding has already slipped away, the hand remains clenched. This grasping is not a flaw in your character. It is simply what minds do, like water flowing downhill, like fire reaching upward. Minds naturally attach to what has moved them deeply. The person who occupies your thoughts has touched something essential in you, a hope, a wound, a longing, a question that remains unanswered. As your body continues relaxing, bring gentle curiosity to this attachment rather than judgment. Notice how the mind keeps returning to this person, not because you are weak, but because you are human. The same capacity that allows us to love deeply is the capacity that makes letting go so difficult. There is nothing wrong with you. Your mind is simply doing what minds do when they have encountered something significant. Why this person? Why now? The Zen tradition teaches that nothing arises without cause. When someone persistently appears in your thoughts, they are not there by accident. They have become what Buddhist psychology calls a mental formation, a pattern of energy that has taken root in your consciousness. But why this particular person? Why not the countless others who have passed through your life? Zen masters would say, because this person mirrors something you need to see. Perhaps they reflect back a part of yourself you haven't fully accepted. Perhaps they represent a path not taken, a possibility that still calls to you. Perhaps they embody something you deeply desire or deeply fear. In our daily lives, we often believe that if we could just understand why we can't stop thinking about someone, we could finally let them go. We analyze, we question, we search for the definitive answer, that will set us free. Yet Zen wisdom suggests a different approach. Instead of asking, "Why can't I stop thinking about them?" we might ask, "What is this thinking trying to show me?" As you drift toward sleep, allow this shift in perspective. You don't need to solve the puzzle of this person tonight. You don't need to understand everything. Simply acknowledge that their presence in your mind carries meaning, even if that meaning hasn't fully revealed itself yet. The answers we seek often emerge not through forceful thinking, but through patient allowing. The illusion of the solid self. Here is a teaching that may surprise you. The person you can't stop thinking about doesn't exist. Not in the way you imagine them, at least. Zen Buddhism teaches that we construct images of others based on fragments, moments we've shared, words we've heard, expressions we've interpreted. From these scattered pieces, our minds build what feels like a complete person. But this construction is a creation of our own consciousness, shaped as much by our hopes and fears as by who they actually are. The person in your thoughts is partly them and partly you. You have filled in the gaps of what you don't know with projections of what you wish or fear. You have frozen certain moments in time while forgetting others. You have created a version of them that serves the story your mind is trying to tell. This is not deception, it is simply how human perception works. We never experience anyone directly. We experience our mind's interpretation of them. As sleep draws nearer, consider how much of your attachment might be to an image rather than a reality. The person you long for, the person you resent, the person you can't release, they are in some sense a painting you have created. A beautiful, complicated painting, perhaps, but still a painting. This recognition doesn't diminish what you felt or feel. It simply offers perspective. You are not trapped by another person. You are engaged in a relationship with your own mind's creation, and what your mind has created, your mind can eventually release. The waves and the ocean. Zen masters often compare thoughts to waves on the ocean. Each wave rises, crests, and falls back into the water from which it came. No wave lasts forever, no matter how powerful it seems at its peak. Your thoughts of this person are waves. Some days they are gentle ripples, barely disturbing the surface. Other days, they are towering swells that seem they will never subside. But every wave, without exception, eventually returns to stillness. The mistake we make is identifying with the waves rather than the ocean. We believe we are the turbulence. We forget that beneath the surface movement, there is a vast depth that remains undisturbed. You are not your thoughts about this person. You are the awareness in which those thoughts appear. You are the space that holds them, not the content itself. As your body grows heavier and more relaxed, imagine yourself sinking beneath the waves of thought. Let the surface continue its movement. You don't need to stop it. Simply allow yourself to rest in the deeper water, where things are quieter, calmer, more still. The waves will continue. They always do. But you don't have to be tossed by them. You can observe from a place of depth. The second arrow. The Buddha told a story about two arrows. When we experience something painful like losing someone or being unable to let go, we are struck by the first arrow. This arrow is unavoidable. It is simply what life delivers. But then we often shoot ourselves with a second arrow, the arrow of judgment, resistance, and self-criticism. We tell ourselves we shouldn't still be thinking about this person. We condemn ourselves for our attachment. We add suffering to our suffering. Notice if you have been shooting yourself with second arrows. Perhaps you've told yourself you're foolish for still caring. Perhaps you've been harsh with yourself for not moving on faster. Perhaps you've added layers of shame to what was already painful. These second arrows often hurt more than the first, and unlike the first arrow, they are optional. As consciousness prepares for sleep, practice laying down the bow. You don't need to punish yourself for your attachment. You don't need to add judgment to your longing. The first arrow is enough to carry. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend who couldn't stop thinking about someone. What would you say to them? Would you criticize their weakness, or would you offer compassion for their tender heart? Tonight, offer that same tenderness to yourself. The practice of allowing. Zen teaches a counterintuitive truth. What we resist persists. The more we fight against thoughts of someone, the stronger those thoughts become. Our resistance feeds them, gives them energy, makes them feel more solid and real than they actually are. There is another way. Instead of pushing thoughts away, we can practice allowing them, not indulging them, not following every thread they offer, but simply letting them be present without making them an enemy. Imagine your thoughts of this person as clouds passing through an infinite sky. You don't need to chase the clouds away. You don't need to grab them and hold on. You simply watch them drift across your awareness, noting their shapes, acknowledging their presence, and letting them continue on their journey. As you continue resting, try this now. If thoughts of this person arise, don't fight them. Don't follow them into elaborate stories either. Simply note, there is a thought about them, nothing more. This simple acknowledgement changes everything. You are no longer in battle with your own mind. You are simply witnessing what appears, with the patience of someone watching weather pass. Clouds come, clouds go, the sky remains. What we cannot release, we must transform. Sometimes, no matter how much we practice allowing, certain attachments refuse to loosen. The person remains vivid in our minds, their presence almost tangible. Zen Buddhism offers guidance for these stubborn attachments. What we cannot release, we must transform. Consider that your persistent thoughts about this person might be carrying a message you haven't yet fully received. Perhaps there is grief that hasn't been fully honored. Perhaps there is anger that hasn't been acknowledged. Perhaps there is love that hasn't found its proper expression. When we listen to what our attachment is trying to tell us, it often begins to soften, not because we forced it away, but because we finally heard what it came to say. As your body continues relaxing, turn toward your attachment with curiosity rather than frustration. If these persistent thoughts could speak, what would they want you to know? What feeling lies beneath the surface of your thinking? You don't need to figure this out completely tonight. Simply opening the question is enough. The deeper mind works on what we offer it, even while we sleep. The impermanence of all things. The Buddha's most fundamental teaching is that everything changes. Nothing that arises fails to pass away. This includes empires and mountains. This includes feelings and thoughts. This includes the most stubborn attachment. You will not think about this person forever. This is not hope, it is simply truth. The intensity you feel now will transform, as all intensity eventually transforms. The sharp edges will soften. The constant presence will become occasional. What feels permanent is actually in constant motion. This doesn't mean you should rush the process or pretend you're further along than you are. It means you can trust that change is already happening, even when you can't perceive it. As sleep draws nearer, take comfort in impermanence. Your current state is not a life sentence. It is a season, and all seasons pass. Even now, as you listen to these words, subtle shifts are occurring. Cells are renewing. Neural pathways are adjusting. The person you were when this meditation began is already slightly different from the person you are now. Change is not something you have to make happen. It is happening constantly, whether you notice it or not. The story we tell. Our minds are storytellers. We take the raw material of experience and weave it into narratives that help us make sense of our lives. The story you tell about this person shapes how you experience them in your thoughts. If your story is one of victimhood, you will feel powerless. If your story is one of resentment, you will feel angry. If your story is one of lost possibility, you will feel grief. None of these stories are wrong. They may contain important truths, but they are still stories, one possible interpretation among many. Zen practice invites us to hold our stories lightly, to recognize that the narrative we've constructed is not the only way to understand what happened or who this person was. There may be perspectives we haven't considered, meanings we haven't explored. As you drift toward sleep, notice the story you've been telling about this person and your connection to them. Without judging it as right or wrong, simply observe its shape. Where does it begin? What are its themes? How does it make you feel? Then, gently consider, is this the only story that could be told? Are there other ways to hold these same facts that might bring more peace? You don't need to rewrite anything tonight. Simply acknowledging that your story is a story, not a fixed truth, creates a small but significant space of freedom. The middle path of memory. Buddhism teaches the middle path, the way between extremes. With memories of someone we can't release, this path lies between two tempting but painful options. On one side is obsession, turning to thoughts of this person constantly, replaying scenes, imagining conversations, living more in memory than in present reality. This path offers temporary comfort, but ultimately increases suffering. On the other side is suppression, trying to force this person out of awareness, pretending they don't matter, denying the significance of what was shared. This path may feel strong, but it often leads to the return of what was buried, sometimes with greater force. The middle path is neither indulgence nor denial. It is acknowledgement without drowning. It is feeling without being swept away. As your body grows heavier with approaching sleep, settle into this middle ground. You don't need to think about this person obsessively. You also don't need to pretend they never mattered. You can simply let them exist in your consciousness without either grasping or pushing away. This balance may feel unfamiliar at first. Like learning to float, it requires a certain trust, but with practice, it becomes the most restful place of all. Compassion for the one who longs. In Zen monasteries, practitioners cultivate a quality called karuna compassion that extends to all beings, including oneself. Turn this compassion now toward the part of you that cannot stop thinking about this person. This part is not your enemy. It is simply a tender place within you that formed a bond, experienced something meaningful, and now struggles to let go. This part of you deserves kindness, not criticism. It bonded because bonding is what hearts do. It struggles because separation is genuinely difficult. Its persistent thoughts are not a malfunction. They are evidence of your capacity to care deeply. As consciousness prepares for sleep, imagine wrapping this tender part of yourself in something soft and warm. Acknowledge its pain without trying to fix it. Thank it for its capacity to love, even when loving hurts. You might silently offer words to yourself. May I be at peace. May I find rest. May I learn to hold this love with ease. This is not weakness. This is the highest form of strength, the courage to be gentle with your own struggling heart. Letting go is not forgetting. There is a fear that often accompanies attachment. The fear that letting go means forgetting. That if we release our grip on someone, we will lose them entirely, not just their presence, but the meaning of what we shared. Zen wisdom offers reassurance. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not erasing. It is not pretending something never mattered. Letting go is simply changing your relationship to what was. Instead of grasping, you hold gently. Instead of constant presence, you allow natural rhythm, sometimes remembering, sometimes focusing elsewhere. Instead of pain, you cultivate gratitude for what was given, even if it was also taken away. When we truly let go, we often find that we remember more clearly, not less. The obsessive fog lifts, and what remains is something cleaner, the essential truth of what this person meant, without the distortions of clinging. As you continue resting, consider that letting go might actually honor this person and your connection more fully than holding on. It makes space for the relationship to transform into something sustainable, a warm corner in the heart, rather than a wound that won't close. The net of Indra, Buddhist philosophy, describes something called Indra's net, an infinite web that stretches throughout the universe, with a jewel at every intersection. Each jewel reflects every other jewel, and in each reflection, every other jewel appears again. This image teaches that we are all connected in ways beyond what we can see. The person you can't stop thinking about is not separate from you. They never were. You are two jewels in the same infinite net, reflecting each other across space and time. From this perspective, letting go takes on new meaning. You are not abandoning a connection. You are recognizing that the connection exists in a form larger than your thoughts, older than your personal history, vaster than any story you could tell. As sleep draws nearer, feel yourself as part of this infinite web. The person in your thoughts is there too, not in your mind, but in the larger fabric of existence that holds you both. You can release your mental grip without losing the deeper connection. What is real between you cannot be destroyed by letting go. It can only be freed. The present moment as refuge. Zen practice always returns to the present moment. This is where peace lives, not in memories of the past, not in hopes or fears about the future, but here, now, in the breath you are taking. The person who occupies your thoughts exists only in your mind. They are not here, in this room, in this moment. What is here is the sensation of your body being supported. What is here is the rhythm of your breathing. What is here is the gentle darkness behind your closed eyes. When thoughts of this person arise, they pull you out of the present and into a mental construction of past or future. This is natural, it's what thoughts do. But you always have the choice to return. As you drift towards sleep, practice this return. Notice when your mind wanders to this person, and gently bring your attention back to your body. Feel the weight of your limbs. Feel the rise and fall of your chest. Feel the present moment receiving you exactly as you are. This moment requires nothing from you. It holds no demands about letting go or holding on. It simply is, and in that simple being, there is rest, the sleep of natural letting go. Every night, whether we intend to or not, we practice a form of letting go. In sleep, we release control of our thoughts, our bodies, our sense of self. We surrender into something larger than our waking consciousness. This nightly surrender is a teacher. It shows us that letting go is possible, that we can release our grip without being destroyed, that something in us knows how to rest. As sleep approaches now, remember that you have done this before. Every night of your life, you have released the day and trusted the darkness. You have allowed your thinking mind to quiet and your deeper self to restore. Tonight can be no different. Whatever thoughts arise about this person, they too can be released into sleep. Not permanently, perhaps, but for now, for tonight, as your body grows heavier and your thoughts begin to soften, allow the natural process of sleep to carry what you cannot carry yourself. Surrender the weight of this attachment, if only for a few hours. Trust that you can pick it up again tomorrow if you need to. But for now, rest. The wisdom of the waiting heart. Finally, Zen teaches patience, not passive waiting, but active trust in the unfolding of things. Your attachment to this person will resolve in its own time, in its own way. This resolution may not look like what you expect. It may come suddenly or gradually. It may involve understanding or simply dissolving. It may leave you changed in ways you cannot predict. Your task is not to force this resolution, but to tend your own garden while it unfolds, to take care of your body, your sleep, your peace, to trust that the same intelligence that heals wounds and grows trees is working within your consciousness, moving things toward balance. As consciousness prepares for sleep, release the need to have this figured out. Release the timeline you may have set for yourself. Release the comparison to how you think you should be doing. You are exactly where you need to be. This attachment, however painful, is part of your path. It is teaching you something about love, about loss, about the nature of your own mind. Trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust yourself. Final settling. The journey tonight is complete. We have explored the nature of attachment, the wisdom of allowing, the practice of compassion, and the freedom of the present moment. Nothing has been solved tonight, and nothing needed to be. What has happened is simpler. You have spent time in the company of ancient wisdom, letting it wash over you like gentle water. Your body is heavy now, ready for rest. Your mind is quieter, though perhaps not silent. The person you've been thinking about may still be there, somewhere in your awareness, and that's okay. They are not a problem to solve. They are a presence to acknowledge. In time, what needs to soften will soften. What needs to release will release. What needs to transform will find its new form. Thank you for walking this path tonight, for having the courage to look at your attachment instead of running from it, for offering yourself the gift of rest even while something in you still reaches for someone who isn't here. May the wisdom of these teachings continue working within you as you sleep. May your dreams be gentle. May you wake with a little more space in your heart than you had before. The person in your thoughts is held in the same vast awareness that holds you. You are both safe in something larger than your separate stories. Rest now, knowing that letting go is not a single act, but a gradual unfolding. You are already in the process, whether you can feel it or not. Sleep well. Sleep peacefully. Good night.